you ever hear about a woman who did everything right and still ended up a headline? She had the job, the degree, the apartment. She was minding her business, just trying to make it through another workday. But what walked through that leasing office door wasn't maintenance, wasn't a delivery, it was her husband, and he didn't come to talk. This is the story of 24-year-old Malia Bess.
The man accused of killing his estranged wife here in Jackson and then barricading himself in an apartment complex leasing office now faces a murder charge. 52-year-old Ron Christopher Allen is accused of killing 24-year-old Malia Bess.
That fatal shooting happening here at the leasing office at Westwood Apartments. In fact, you can even see the bloodstains are still on the mat at the front entrance door of the leasing office. We found out Bess worked as a property manager here at the complex. We also learned that her husband, Ron Christopher Allen, is being accused of shooting her 7 times after finding out she had a boyfriend.
A young black woman from Jackson, Mississippi, who got married on Valentine's Day and was buried just 5 months later. The man accused of taking her life, her husband, 52-year-old Ron Christopher Allen, a man nearly 3 decades older who couldn't take no for an answer. Malia wasn't just somebody's wife. She was somebody, a leasing manager at Westwood Apartments, a Jackson State University graduate, a young woman who showed up early to open the blinds, prep the brochures, and get the day started before the phones even rang. People who worked with her said she was professional, kind, and focused. Tenants liked her. Staff respected her. She kept her head down and her work ethic up. And in her personal time, she was working on peace. A planner girl, a devotional girl, someone who had big dreams and wasn't waiting around for anyone to give her permission to chase them. In early 2025, Malia married Ron Allen, a 52-year-old man with 3 kids, a troubled legal history, and a whole lot of baggage. They got married on Valentine's Day. Some thought it was romantic, but others, especially those close to her, had their doubts from the jump. Not just because of the age gap, but because of who he was. Ron had a history of legal issues, skipped out on court dates, and had just finished a 28-day rehab program up in Jersey. He said he was sober, but being clean doesn't fix a man's character. And behind closed doors, things weren't smooth. Malia's friends said she started getting nervous. She moved out. She stayed with a friend because she didn't feel safe in her own home anymore. That friend, Manisha Simmons, would later say she didn't want to leave him.
She had to leave him because she just had to for her own safety. As we can see, she did not feel safe sleeping next to him.
She had to for her own safety. And that's something a lot of people miss. Leaving isn't always about wanting out. Sometimes it's just about survival. After the move, Ron didn't take the hint. He kept popping up at Malia's job, harassing her, showing up unannounced, creating scenes. According to Manisha, he was actually at my house the day before.
He was actually at my house yesterday on my couch.
Sure was.
And we talked, about them working the relationship out or whatever. And he left. It wasn't nothing alarming. I didn't feel anything.
The day after that couch conversation, Malia woke up, got dressed, and showed up for work like she always did. She texted Manisha that morning.
This morning, I told her, I said, "You're gonna be fine. I love you." And she said, "I love you too."
It would be the last message she'd ever send. But what would happen next wasn't an argument. It wasn't some heat-of-the-moment mistake. It was a deliberate act by a man who felt entitled to her life, because what started as a love story ended with 7 gunshots in the leasing office.
Husband, Ron Christopher Allen, is being accused of shooting her 7 times after finding out she had a boyfriend.
The morning of the shooting, it was July 31st, 2025, just after 11 a.m., a regular Thursday. Malia had gotten to work on time. She was likely prepping her desk, checking emails, maybe even reviewing a move-in checklist with maintenance. What she didn't know was that Ron Allen was already on his way. He wasn't coming with flowers. He wasn't coming to fix anything. He came with a gun. Witnesses say he walked straight into that leasing office. No yelling, no warning, and then a gunshot. One witness opened the office door and saw Malia holding her side. They slammed the door shut and then heard 6 more shots. 7 bullets in total, 1 for each month she gave him, 1 for each time she said leave me alone. After the shooting, Allen didn't run. He didn't call 911. He barricaded himself inside the leasing office with Malia's body still on the floor. Police were called immediately. The first officers on scene saw blood on the front mat, blood on the walls, and Ron Allen locked inside, armed. For the next 3 hours, the building was surrounded by law enforcement, Jackson PD, Byram PD, Clinton Police, Capitol Police, even the Hinds County Sheriff's Office. Nobody knew if he was going to turn the gun on himself or on somebody else. But what really shook people was what happened during that standoff. Someone, a friend or family member, called Malia's phone, hoping for a miracle. Ron answered and said 4 chilling words. She's already dead. Officers hold back the surrender. Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade later said, "We could have barged in, but that might have led to more bloodshed. We had to be patient. We had to be smart." Eventually, Ron agreed to come out. He walked out, covered in blood, hands. The murder weapon was still on site. Officers took him in without a shot fired, but it was already too late for Malia. At the scene, Malia Bess was declared dead, killed at her workplace. By the man who said, "I do," just 5 months earlier. She became Jackson's 35th homicide of the year. But this wasn't about stats. This was about a young black woman who tried to protect herself and still didn't make it out. Ron Allen's first court appearance came fast. August 1st. He stood before Judge June Hardwick, the same judge who once gave him a repayment plan for a DUI. This time, the charges were murder. And Judge Hardwick wasn't playing. She denied him bond on the spot, citing the cold nature of the killing and the danger he posed. Fans speak out, community in mourning. Back at the Westwood Apartments, tenants were in shock. Blood still stained the leasing office floor. And for those who knew Malia, this was trauma they would carry forever. Her friend Manisha, the same one who gave her a couch to sleep on, told reporters she didn't want to leave him. She had to. And he didn't want her to go. She added something else, a warning to every woman watching.
If you're not afraid, even if by every single shadow of a doubt in your mind, you think that that person would never do that to you, if they threaten you one time, take it seriously.
Even if you're not afraid, even if you swear up and down, he would never do that to you. If he threatens you one time, take it seriously. As news of Malia's death spread, so did speculation, rumors, accusations. Some folks started talking about money, infidelity, and what she might have done wrong. But let's be clear, none of that changes the fact that she was murdered, at work, in broad daylight, by a man who couldn't stand to be told, no. Why is leaving still the most dangerous part of a relationship for so many black women? That she was planning to divorce him and take his money. But here's the truth. The aftermath, rumors start flying. Not even 24 hours after Malia's death, social media lit up. Posts started flying from people claiming to be close to Ron Allen. Some even said they were family. One post from a user named Mona J, claiming to be his nephew, said she married for money, took $70,000 from him, and cheated with the maintenance man. There's more to this story. Others chimed in with similar talk, that Malia was scheming, that she had a boyfriend. None of that has been confirmed by police. None of that has shown up in court documents. And even if some of it were true, would that justify shooting her 7 times? This right here is how it always goes in these stories. A man kills a woman, then the conversation flips to what she might have done. She took his money. She had another man. She shouldn't have played with his heart. But none of that matters, because nothing gives someone the right to murder. If you feel played, leave. If you feel hurt, walk away. But when you pick up a gun and take somebody's life, that's not love. That's control. That's punishment. That's ego in its deadliest form. The reality for black women, and let's talk about what this means for black women. Because Malia wasn't out here wildin', she was trying to get out. She told her friends she felt unsafe. She moved out. She showed up for work, She was doing what survivors are told to do, and still, it wasn't enough. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from intimate partner violence, and the risk jumps 75% higher when they try to leave. That's not a statistic. That's reality. That's Malia. Even if you're not afraid, even if you think he'd never do that to you, if he threatens you once, take it seriously. The system missed Ron Allen had a history, drug abuse, missed court appearances, legal troubles, yet somehow, he was still walking free.
Still had access to her job, still able to pull up and end her life like it was nothing, and the system didn't catch it, didn't stop it, didn't protect her. That's what hurts the most. She was trying to survive, and the world let her down. So when people ask what really happened, here's the only truth that matters. Malia Bess was 24 years old. She was smart, independent, and loved. She had a whole life ahead of her, and she was killed by the man who couldn't accept her leaving. This wasn't a crime of passion. It wasn't about age gaps or dating rumors. It was about power, about a man who couldn't stand the idea of not being in control. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Call, text, reach out. Because staying could cost you everything. Malia did what she could, and for her, it still wasn't enough. So let's not just mourn her. Let's listen to women when they say they're scared. Let's stop questioning their choices after they're gone. And let's make sure the next woman who tries to leave actually gets to live. Rest in peace, Malia Bess. You deserved so much more.